What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the podcast. What's up, bro? How you doing today?
Welcome. Doing well, doing well. It's a busy day, busy
Yeah.
weekend, but we are still here recording.
Yeah, and actually, that's funny because we were just talking about now, like how funny it is that since we started doing this podcast, I was thinking of how many times I've heard people want to do something, have this idea, and then never take action. Because we had this idea of, hey, we should film a podcast. Well, shit, 2 days after we were filming episode 1.
Yeah.
But then people have this idea of, I would like to try this and I would like to try that, and then they never do it.
Yeah.
It's just, I really was thinking about it these past few days of how many people just lack action and therefore they never achieve anything because they don't really want to take action because that first step is the hardest. I don't know if
Yeah.
you see that with your clients as well.
For sure. I mean, hell, I have seen this with myself now.
Yeah, me
I used
too.
to procrastinate like crazy in the past, and I think, of course, for us now we are saying like, okay, let's start something and we take action. But it took me literally like 8 years of work just to get here because 8 years ago I was procrastinating on
Yeah.
literally everything, right?
Yeah.
So it's a journey, and well, that's also what I see with my clients. Many clients of mine, before even working with them, I
Yeah.
have a call with them, and
Yeah.
and we almost always talk about this how they're afraid to take action. And
Yeah.
of course, it's not just about money, right? Of course, you're paying money to be coached, but it's also the fact that you have to trust yourself. You have to
Yeah.
trust the process. You have to take action and be open for the change, right?
Yeah.
And many people are afraid of the change and uncertainty, right? You don't
Yeah.
know what's coming, and yeah, I think that's the main reason why people are scared, because they get overwhelmed. Oh my God, it's gonna take a lot of work. Can I do this? Can I do that?
Yeah.
And they overthink it, and then from there they just don't take action
Yeah.
ever, right?
And for me, what I think, like I remember this quote that I saw somewhere or heard somewhere. There was something on the lines of your level of success is going to be determined by the amount of time that passes between the time you have an idea and the time you take action on it.
Yeah.
So like the further away those two moments are, the less likely you are to actually succeed on that idea. That's why we were talking about, hey, let's do a podcast. 2 days after we're filming episode 1.
Yeah.
Like action. If it doesn't work, well, shit, it doesn't work. But at least you took action.
Yeah.
You try. You see what happens, and you actually give it a shot instead of just, well, maybe it's too hard. Well, maybe it's not for me. Well, if that's your mindset for everything and you never take action on anything, what do you think is going to happen? You're not going to achieve shit. But if you actually try, well, you can either, well, just end up like the same place you were before, as in, well, it didn't work, or it can actually work, and then you're going to improve in some ways, whether it's
Yeah.
like with porn addiction, whether it's with fitness or health or a business idea or anything. But if you think about an idea and you have this idea and you think to some degree, hey, this might work, just take action, see what happens, see if it works, and then decide. Well, it didn't work. Well, at least you tried. But then you're not going to spend the rest of your life thinking, well, shit, maybe I should have. Well,
Yeah.
now you know. It's the
Yeah.
same thing as asking a girl out. Well, I don't know if she's going to say no. Well, you don't fucking know. Just ask her. And if she says fuck you, then fuck you. But at least you asked and now you know what's the answer.
Yeah.
So either you stay the same as you are now or you move one step ahead. But you have to ask in order to know what's the answer.
Yeah, I think it's also a little tricky because I think we have been sold a lie, or we are when you go on social media and you check out certain people and you're like, wow, this guy has an amazing life. He's a YouTuber. I want to be a YouTuber too. Yes, and then you never take action. This was me, by the way. I was like following all these people in the past, and I was like just dreaming about being a YouTuber, right? And for years I was just dreaming and never took action, procrastinating, for obvious reasons, my insecurities, right? And then after a few years I took action, right? And then I started my YouTube channel and I realized this is not for me. So this is also one of those things, because we have been conditioned, right? And we are
Yeah.
conditioned to believe that there is something, maybe this is something what we want,
Yeah.
but then when you try, and you only know when you try, because until then you're just like entertaining an idea, dreaming about something, right? And then you have to test it, you have to see how it feels, like you actually have to embody it, do it for a couple of months at least. And then see how it feels, and you can stick with it or just drop it and
Exactly.
start something else. But again, if you have all these ideas and you never take action and you're just entertaining an idea, then you will never achieve anything, right?
Yeah, I always like bring it home with my industry, just because it's fitness and people are, oh, I would like to lose weight. I'll start Monday. I'll start next month. I'll start because, and the only reason why people delay that first moment is because they know it's hard and they know that once they do, they will have to commit. It's like, well, I want to, but at the same time, shit, that's gonna be hard. So I don't really want to put in the work. So that delay of the first action always leads to not achieving anything. Just time passing because it's gonna pass anyways, and then you will just begin a new year in the same place and the same shape that you were the last year. And I'm gonna see that within a few months in January when people are like, "Yo, Mark, New Year's resolutions, let's get in shape." Well, you also had that one last year, and look at you now. So you're still the same.
Yeah, just wasting the time.
It's just lack of action, and then once you take action, lack of commitment. Because also what I see is that, well, you took the first step. Okay, good. But as soon as they take the first step and they see they have to face the first hardship or problem or obstacle, they use it as the perfect excuse to, okay, see this, just I thought this is not for me, I quit. Well, shit, you took the first step, which is the hardest one, so might as well be a little bit stubborn and keep trying. And if you face a problem, instead of bitching out, well, try to see how you can solve it or go around it or just keep moving forward. Life is all about problems and how we solve them and how we keep moving forward. Whether it's a small problem or a massive one, but it's just about taking action and not letting the problems along the way actually be like, well, I'm just gonna turn around. Because what's the point then of trying? You're not even trying. You're just, okay, see, just as I thought, fuck it. Well, no, fucking try.
Yeah. I also see this. So this is also the reason why I believe in charging more money for a coaching program, right? Because I don't want people who pay hundreds, 200, 300, whatever, how much money, which is on the low end, right? For a coaching. And then, well, like you said, no, they're like, oh, okay, this is hard, bye. Because they didn't, the pain is not big enough, right? It's like, if you pay 4K for a coaching, which I did when I hired my first coach, that was a big investment. And I was like, fuck, this is actually scary. Like, I'm investing so much money, but then I'm investing so much money in myself and my future. And I took it fucking serious. And at the time, I was actually unemployed. So I had all the time and I was investing so much time in that coaching. Like, I made sure that this is going to be worth it. This money I spent on myself, I will get the maximum out of this. And I didn't even think about quitting. It was fucking hard. It's not that. But at least I spent so much money on it that I was like, okay, I can't quit. I can't go back, right? And that's a good motivation.
Yeah, it's a good motivation, but at the same time, it's quite sad that people don't have the willpower and they actually need to pay money, a lot of money, to actually be like, shit, I paid this amount of money, so might as well try.
Yeah.
And if not, they don't try. Well, the motivation shouldn't come from the fact that you paid money. That should be the extra motivation.
Yeah.
You should do it on your own, even without paying. But people
that's
need
not
that
the
extra
reality.
push. Yeah,
Exactly.
No, me myself as well. And back in the day when I was first getting into fitness and everything, I had to hire a coach to coach me and train me and set up diets and programs and everything because I was too lazy and I was too unmotivated. I was like, you know what? If I pay someone, I will do it because I paid. Might as well just do that. But at the same time, I'm just reflecting on myself. I was like, well, I was just completely lazy and had zero willpower of, well, I want this, I'm gonna do it, which is what I think should be the norm. But a lot of people need that extra motivation to actually do it. I have a lot of clients that are like, yo, I don't really need to lose a lot of weight or get in shape. I'm just paying you because I know that if I don't, I won't go to the gym.
That's the thing.
But if I have you on top of me every week, yo, how was the training, how was the nutrition, everything, I know that I have someone who's gonna ask me, so I'm gonna actually commit to it. Yeah. But if I don't pay you, I won't do it. I'm like, well, then you're not fucking doing it because you want it. You're doing it because you're forcing yourself to, because you're paying me. So, which is okay. I mean, hey, fuck me, you're good. But you're not gonna pay me forever. So if you want something that's gonna last a long time, it has to come from a place of willpower, not just paying money. But it's a sad reality that we live in.
Well, I do think it's a process for every single person, because what I see also is that many people they hire coaches, and this is also, I think, one of the main reasons why I hired the coach in the past, and also why people hire you also, so you hold them accountable, right? You're checking on them, you're pushing them when they need pushing. Yeah. And I always say that when it comes to like information, I think information or like everything is out there, even for free, right? You can use ChatGPT, whatever you want. You can get the information. Now, obviously, you have to filter. Yeah. And I see this many times. Now, people actually know what they are supposed to do. It's just that they lack action.
Yeah.
Like they don't take action, they are not consistent, they are not committed enough. And that's where, for example, a coach comes into play, because the coach will hold you accountable.
Yeah.
Of course, he will give you the knowledge you need, the filtered knowledge, the tools, the practices, whatever, and then also the mindset, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the main reasons, or at least in my opinion, why my clients succeed is because in those 2 months, for example, in my coaching program, I teach them self-discipline. And this is one thing, is like I tell my clients that, man, after the coaching, I don't want you to, because they ask me, hey, what's going to happen after the coaching? And I was like, well, don't come to me, because I don't want your money, and I don't want to keep you in my coaching. I want to teach you, educate you, so you have the knowledge and the skills, and then you go out and then you experience life as it is, and you're using all those the information, the knowledge, the tools on your own. And that's the point of a coaching too, is like you acquire those skills, the skills you never had previously, right? And I think that's the main reason why I think coaching works, is because in those few months you actually learn the skills you need. So
it's the same for fitness, because what I try to do with my clients is like, hey, I'm not gonna just send you a diet and a workout plan that you follow just because I say so for 3 months and then fuck it, that's it. I'm gonna try to teach you how to have a training style that you enjoy doing, that you can do long term, and I'm gonna teach you how to change your nutritional habits so you can actually develop this style of eating that you're gonna be able to hold forever. Now, does that mean that you're gonna need me forever? No, you can pay me if you want, but I'm gonna make sure that you have the knowledge to actually be completely autosufficient. And if then, hey, well, yes, I know how to do it on my own, but I like Marc checking on me, so I'm gonna pay him. Okay, if it's just because you choose to, that's fine, but not because you need to. So I think that's as coaches, I think one of the main things that we need to do is actually make sure that people learn. Exactly. We actually teach people how to do what we preach and what we teach. And then once they've learned, they can choose if they still want to pay us because they like having us on top of them, or, hey, I know how to do it, I'm gonna do it on my own, which should be the ultimate goal. Like, I don't want to coach some person for 15 years. I mean, I don't mind, but the idea should be, hey, I've taught you how to train, I've taught you how to eat on your own. Well, just go be autosufficient and go be fully functional on your own. And if at some point, hey, I have a more serious goal, maybe I don't know how to do this, then you can always go back to your coach. But at least learn and then have this goal and this progress just be able to hold it forever, which should be the goal as well. Same as the addictions, like for you, I'm assuming the idea would be like, hey, I'm teaching you how to get rid of this porn addiction, and not only that, but also so you don't relapse.
Exactly. Actually, in my niche, a lot of people ask me like, hey man, why should I even hire a coach when I can go to therapy? And I'm like, it's the two things are completely different, right? In therapy, you have a session, 15 minutes, whatever, how many minutes, and then you build self-awareness. You're literally self-reflecting. And then the therapist kicks you out. Maybe he gives you a few tools, but there is no accountability, there is no motivation, no kicking your ass. See you in 2 weeks, see you in 4 weeks, I don't know. With the coach is different, because the coach will give you all the tools, and then he will check in with you every single day, pretty much, right? Or whenever you need help. So you can't compare the two, and I think that's the key, right? That a coach will actually make sure that you're progressing. A therapist will never make sure, because you have a session maybe every 2 weeks, right? So that's not really, again, it depends also on the person and what you're struggling with, right? But as I think it's also the same with coaching, no? Like when it comes to you, right?
I think and I think all of this just goes back to what we were saying at the beginning of the podcast, like the lack of action. Because following a paper just for the sake of it, it's way easier than actually trying to learn and understand and change habits. Because we can all follow, for example, in my niche, we can all follow a diet and a workout plan for 2 months or 3 months. It's easy. I do what it says here, that's it, and I don't even think of it, I just do it. And then on the 4th month, once I'm done, I just go back to my old habits. And then what happens? Well, you gain all the way back, you get out of shape and everything. So that's, the reason why we coaches see that issue is that because people lack action in terms of, this is harder because I need to learn and I need to change and I need to do that. If I go to therapy and I just vent out for 15 minutes, that's very easy. I just go there, I just talk for 15 minutes and then I'm out. Boom, I'm going to therapy.
And this is the thing, because since we talk about action, no? Like most people go to therapy, and I have many clients who went to therapy for 5-6 years and nothing or not much changed. And it's because they go to therapy, but then they leave the session and nothing happens.
Exactly.
They don't actually integrate the information.
Exactly.
And
That's
if you
the
don't do
issue.
that, then you will stay stuck forever,
Exactly.
right?
And if you don't take action, you will never actually integrate that information and those habits and those new learnings in your lifestyle. And you will not only not achieve that goal, but also if you do, not be able to hold it forever. So everything just comes down to action.
Yeah. There's also one thing I notice, especially when it comes to the first calls I have with clients, is that many people will say to me, I think we even talked about this in episode 1, that they're like, yeah, I can just do it on my own. Or, yeah, I will think about it. And these kind of people almost always disappear, right?
Yeah.
Because obviously when you're motivated and the emotions are high, you're like, oh, let's do this coaching, let's invest. And then when your mind starts to creep up on you and you're like, oh, can I do this? Can I do that? Oh, it's going to be hard. Then you chicken out.
Yeah.
And that's why it's super important to filter. I do filter my clients or the people I work with in the first call like crazy. And even if they tell me, hey man, let's start and I will pay you right now, I tell them, man, honestly, I don't think you're coachable, right? So that's also one of those things that you really have to consider. Like I think many coaches are needy and greedy, and they just coach people for the money, right? But for example, for me, I don't care. I want results, and that's also my main focus. That's my main focus, right? I want results, and it doesn't. Like, no one has to be perfect, right? You can mess up, you can relapse, you can make mistakes, but you have to learn from it, and you have to be coachable, right? So that's also the
I think all of that, it just ties up also. I think it's something we were talking about in one of the episodes. I think. The lack of emotional control. So I'm being very impulsive, have this burst of motivation, I'm gonna do this, and then 2 weeks after the motivation is
not
gone,
even
like,
2 days.
or 1 day after, it's like, well, shit, what did I do? Well, that's why sometimes when you have this burst of motivation and this like really, I want to do it, instead of being impulsive and then taking a decision just in the heat of the moment that you might actually regret later, maybe you need to sleep it off for a couple of days and see if a week after you still have that need or that thought of, I want to do that. Then that's okay. But just because you're having that particular emotion in that specific moment, you shouldn't just go for it. Because, well, I mean, if you do it and then 2 days after you're not motivated enough and you're the kind of person who once motivation is gone, then they stop doing it, then you'll probably have spent a lot of money for nothing. Because then you're going to do it because you're not the kind of person who actually has the willpower to do it. And it's like, well, shit, but this is not working for me. But, well, you're not even doing what we're telling you to do because you just paid in the burst of the motivation and now you don't care. So it's quite sad that we actually, as coaches, we also need to filter what kind of people gets into the coaching, because it should be, okay, I pay you because I want you, here's what you need to do, perfect, I've done it, amazing, have a good life, awesome. But it's not like that.
That would be amazing, but no.
That would be perfect, but no, because as we were saying, all about emotions, lack of emotional control, lack of self-awareness when it comes to emotions. Well, this that I'm feeling right now, is it actually a need that I have, or is it just a burst of motivation because I saw a TikTok and that motivated me and now I feel motivated? But then 3 hours after, it's like, shit, the motivation is gone. You really need to sleep on it, and that's what we need to filter as well with clients and everything, and see who is actually there because he or she really wants to, or they're just, okay, let's do it. I'm hyped today, and then the next morning it's like, shit. Well, you need to be more aware of yourself.
This is also what I had to learn on my own when it comes to my recovery in the past, and also when it comes to building a business, right? Like you can't be emotional when it comes to building a business, especially in the beginning, because for months or maybe even years, not much
Nothing
is going
happens.
to happen. And you're just sitting there, you're posting, you're doing this and that, and nothing happens. And I told you this story, right? I started my coaching and then I stopped and I got shadow banned and all these things. But then I started again and I was so motivated. I was like, fuck this, let's do it. And I committed, right? I committed for a few months and nothing happened. I was like, shit, again, nothing is happening. This is failing. I'm failing. The business is not going to work. And then I was like, you know what? I could quit now, or I can commit to for 3 months again and see what happens in those 3 months. And I can, just brainstorm after 3 months and decide what I want to do. And in those 3 months, so much has happened. I built my coaching program. I made sales. I actually grew my community on Reddit. And again, I underestimated how much I can grow in 3 months. And thanks to those 3 months, because I committed, my business is alive, and I'm helping hundreds and thousands of people. And I wanted to quit. I literally wanted to quit, and I was so close.
I think, because I have this, and I've had this for years now, and you know it, and I'll explain in a little bit. But I think your actions should always overlast your emotions.
Yeah.
Because for me, I can really relate to that, because for me, my first year of Instagram, I was like amazing. I went from 0 to fucking 100K followers. But then from there, I've spent like 2 or 3 years really struggling with the account, really struggling to get clients, really struggling to get the engagement. Basically, really struggling with one of the main pillars of my coaching and of my business, which is social media in general, because that's what I do and that's where my clients come from and everything. And then we have the video that went viral this week that we were talking on episode 2. And it's only gone viral because I haven't quit. And for the past 2 years, every single week, I had that thought of, maybe I should fucking quit and just fuck this and just do something else. But if I had done that, I wouldn't have posted the video I posted the other day, going viral, and then kind of like restarting the account. So the only reason why that happened is because I didn't let those thoughts win, and I overlasted with action those emotions and those thoughts at those moments. I was like, well, shit, I'm doing it this, I'm committing. Yes, I feel like quitting, but I'm not going to do it because I know that quitting doesn't bring anything. So might as well just continue to do it. So, and now, 2 years after struggling, it's like, shit, well, now I see why I kept going, because now it's working. Yeah. So a lot of times you just need to commit, understand that for the first, few months, few years, depending on what it is that you're doing, nothing is going to happen, and you will feel like quitting all the time, and you will feel doubtful, and you won't be sure of what you have to do or if what you're doing is actually the right thing or not, which you will never know until actually time passes and you see. But you need to be aware of that. You need to be you need to have the willpower of going through that. That's why so many entrepreneurs just quit within the first year or two, because nothing is happening, company is not growing and everything. Fuck this. Well, no, fuck this, because the entrepreneurs and coaches and everything that you look up to on social media and everything, they've been doing that for 15 years. If they had quit on the first year, you wouldn't be looking up to them because you wouldn't even know who they are. So it's just overlasting. Exactly. So it's just overlasting emotions, and which is really hard, of course, but you really need to keep your head down, keep your head cool, don't let emotions control you, and be like, okay, I don't care, I'm feeling like this, I know I have to do this, then we're doing this. Even if my feelings are telling me the opposite, I don't care, because my logical thinking is telling me to do this, so I'm going to do that, which is hard, of course. I'm not saying I'm a fucking superhuman, but I think mastering that difference is actually a really, really important skill to have. Yeah. Not only in business or in coaching or anything, it's just in life in general. Yeah. So if you have those impulses of, oh shit, fuck this, and then 2 months later you regret it, like, fuck, maybe I shouldn't have quit. Yeah. Well, you shouldn't have. Yeah. So
I think it's also a tricky thing, no? Because obviously you have things you want to do, and then there's the insecurities and all the limiting beliefs creeping up on you, right? Yeah. And for example, when it comes to your business, you have been doing this since years now, right? Yeah. There's a big difference between you and someone who just started maybe 1 year ago, right? Because obviously, if you start, when nothing is going to happen, and there's a saying, nothing happens until everything happens. Exactly. And that's also what happened to me, pretty much. But obviously, when you're struggling for years and years and years and years, you also have to be like, you have to be aware, like you have to reflect on it and be like, am I actually just struggling and just pushing something I don't even want to do anymore? Or this is actually really what I want? And this is, I think, where intuition comes into play, like listening to your intuition. Yeah. Whenever you're not distracting yourself, whenever you're chilling, the shower thoughts, whenever you're in the shower, and you keep having these ideas. If you keep having these ideas, it's probably because it's something for you that you should try or do. But I see also many times people who are just like forcing things, and that's also not smart. So there is a fine line there, right?
Yeah, and I think that's hard, because I think a lot of times you really need to like identify if you're actually like really trying, or if you're just being stubborn in a way that is not gonna work, and you just need to not change the goal, just change the plan. So I take it back to my case. Because it's the one that I know the best. For months and months and months on end, I was posting the same same format of content and same ideas of content and everything, just hoping that one day it would work. Well, shit, if it hasn't worked for a few months, maybe I shouldn't quit posting content or doing my social media business, but maybe I should try a different kind of content. And as soon as I did, boom, viral video. So
Yeah.
just trying to make the point. Sometimes it's not that you're not trying hard enough, or sometimes it's not that you're not being actually stubborn with your goal. Sometimes it's just the fact that you are trying to force achieving that goal in a way that maybe it's not for you. Maybe you should try a different way. Not change the goal, because the goal should always
Yeah.
be the same. When the plan doesn't work, change the plan, not the goal.
Yeah.
But well, shit, if it's not working for some time, you actually need to reflect and be like, well, okay, am I being like really, hustle life, or am I being just an idiot because
Yeah.
I continue to do something that I know is not working anyways?
Yeah.
So it's hard. It's hard actually.
I also used to be really stubborn, no? Like, no, this is what I want. And okay, this is what I want, but I also have to be open and be like, okay, what can also work, and then try that. Because like you said, you don't necessarily have to quit, you don't necessarily have to, throw the whole thing, but then you have to be open to try new things, just different format maybe, or just to talk to people in a different way, right?
Exactly.
Maybe trigger more, be
Exactly.
more polarizing.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's really up to you, and also what your values are about.
Yeah.
Because if you don't want to talk shit about people, and there are those channels, no, where
Yeah,
they
yeah.
talk shit about other people.
Yeah.
And for example, I cannot do anything with that. No,
No.
it's like, okay, man. I mean, do your thing, but yeah, but you really have to be open and try things. And
Yeah. And I think we all need to understand that life has its own ways to teach you things, and I think life has its own very specific lessons. And sometimes you want to achieve this goal through this path, but maybe, hey, life is telling you, hey, maybe that's not the path. Yeah, that's your goal, but maybe you have to go around this, or you have to go around that way. So you need to also pay attention to those signs. Like, if you have a goal, okay, you have the goal, you're stubborn with that goal, but maybe not necessarily with the way that you want to achieve that goal. Because maybe you're trying, and if it's not working, because life is telling you, hey, it's not that door, it's the other one. So might as well check. Because you can always go back to the one you're trying now that's not working.
Yeah.
But maybe if you check a different door, shit, that one opens just flawlessly.
Yeah.
But you really need to pay attention to that. Like, not give up on the goal. That's never an option. But hey, if you are trying in a way that you can see for months on end that is not working, or years on end, well, shit, try a different way. Just don't be stubborn.
Yeah. No, life is definitely a teacher. I used to have, I told you, the YouTube example. No, it's like, I'm going to be a YouTuber. And then I tried, and then I tried many other things since that. And I realized this is not for me. And now I'm here where I am. And this feels like this is where I want. And of course, nothing is easy, and nothing is flowing. I need to try many new things and pivot and change and implement things. But that's life. That's life's way that to teach you. And
Exactly.
if you are not open
Exactly.
to learn, then you will probably struggle. Right?
Exactly. And you just need to make sure that you just need to not be afraid to try different ways.
Yeah.
Because at least for me, sometimes I'm too stubborn. Like, no, it has to be like this, like this, like this, like this.
Yeah,
well, shit, it's
same.
not working like this, so fucking do something different.
Yeah.
And I think you need to give it a first shot and a first amount of time to try it. And if it's not working, then switch it. But don't try to stick to this idea because this is how I am, this is the idea that I have. Well, it's not working, so do it a different way. And life will teach you to do that the hard way. But eventually, if you pay attention and you pay like a close enough attention, you will learn. But it's just about paying attention, taking action, having the willpower to actually not only try, but also, try a different route if the one that you like is not working, and then be actually fully committed to that idea or that goal. And then eventually, at some point, you'll wake up one day and be like, shit, I've done it. So don't be afraid, take action, do your own thing. And then you have a goal, like we were saying at the beginning, don't delay that first step. Just take it right now after this episode, which is ending right this second, so you can all go take action and stop listening to us.
Yeah.
Anyways, as always, thank you for listening to us.
Thank you guys
If
for watching,
you
listening.
enjoyed the podcast, and if you enjoyed the episode, please, as always, like and subscribe, because that's going to help us a lot. And obviously, that's going to mean that you guys like the content, which is always a good motivation for us to keep posting the content. So, yeah.
Thank you.
Until the next one.
See you in the next one.